Folks, what's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and welcome to the battlefields of Total War Warhammer 2, where I have something kind of special for you today, and I think you're really going to like it. I jumped onto the Discord, grabbed a group of awesome people to play a battle with, and we set up a 3v3. And in this 3v3, it is a team battle, and really, outside of using unit caps, which are built into the game already, there were no rules other than the factions of your team have to hate each other. Like, so in Warhammer lore, whatever factions you pick, they will not be lore friendly. And the idea of this is just to have a little fun, forces you to pick matchups that you don't always think of. And so on my team here, I'm playing as the Beastmen, and I've got Morgur over here because the High Elves probably hate Morgur pretty bad. And then the High Elves have brought Teclis, and then we have the Vampire Coast, who undoubtedly probably loves to raid, pillar, and plunder basically anybody in Warhammer who has money. So it's a triangle of hatred in our team. All these factions can't stand each other. And on the other side, we have another beautiful triangle of hatred, and it is going to be Clan Scryer, the Huntsmarshal's expedition, and the Lizardmen. So again, a beautiful triangle of hate, with the Lizardmen hating the Skaven hate the Huntsmarshal hates the Lizardmen hate the Huntsmarshal. Yeah, it's perfect. So we have it all set up. If it's a just a raging 3v3 here, where all the factions can't stand each other, but they're forced to play together and break all the bounds that we know in Warhammer. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the armies. So our own Regina is leading the High Elves. I don't remember who all. I think Isidore is my other teammate. I know we had Uncle Gant, and we'll see all the other team members. I'm not going to remember everybody's name. So I apologize. We'll see it at the end, though, and you all know who was playing here with me, but they're all folks on my Discord. So the High Elves are going to have Illyrian Reavers leading the way. They've got some Illyrian Reaver archers, and then behind that is the little tankier piece of the cords, a couple of Silver Helms, and a Dragon Prince, and the Fireborn Dragon Princes. There is a Great Eagle, a Tyrannok Chariot, and as I mentioned earlier, Teclis is their leader. They do have support from a Death Mage here, not something that I've been accustomed to seeing from the High Elves, but they do have a Death Mage, and they're just rocking Spirit Leech and the Starwood Staff to bring in extra magic reserves. Now, for the Beastmen, I do have 2 Poison Warhounds and a couple of Centaurs with great weapons for some mobility, a couple of Chaos Spawn, a couple of Arkansas Razor Gore herds, and then we have some... I've got Morgur and a Bray Shaman, a Beast with just the Summon and a Flock of Doom. And then, Morgur actually forgot one of his summon abilities, so he's only got one. My front line is Gore Herds with shields, and I've got a couple of Ungore Herds as well. As far as the Vampy Coast, you're going to see it's actually an all-in rush. They got Count Noctilus there, 4 pole arms. We've got some Rotting Prometheans, Animated Hulks, Syrenes, basically anything that can move faster for the Vampy Coast, and then a couple of Deckhand mob mixed in. So we do have a massive rush set up. We could have tried to do a range fight, but the Beastmen aren't great from range. All we would have had was the Vampire Coast going up against Skaven and Empire, who are both very good from range, so we decided not to. Now, as far as our enemies goes, there's some Cold One Riders here. Let's take a look at Clan Scryer. They've got a Doom Wheel on either flank, just a whole boatload of slaves here in the middle to try and block for the skirmishers. Ikit Claw is leading Scryer, and he's got some Rattling Guns and a lot of Poison Wind Mortars here, so a ton of Poison Wind Mortars. And then the Empire has some archers and I think just archers here. Yeah, all archers set up through here. And then there are some Free Company militia on the flanks. And then we've got some spearmen set up around. And then the Huntsmarshal himself, of course, is leading the army. He's got his Hunter Snare and his abilities for sniping. He's brought a Bright Wizard with him as well, which is a cool pick. There are some Flagellants, and then a Warrior Priest. A Warrior Priest is also a cool unit to kind of send in with cavalry and other units. Can really help out a lot. You can see they're turned around expecting us to have a big vanguard, and we didn't. There's an Ancient Sally here, some Sara Spears, a bunch of Skink cohorts in the middle, and there is actually a Fire Slant, so a lot of fire that they've brought against us here. Some Feral Bastillodon, and then a Salamander hunting pack, so you can see it's going to be a lot of fun. The Empire did have several units of Empire Knights, and folks, I assure you that this will be a battle to remember. It's going to get started. We know we have to rush, and so the epic rush is on. We're going to see all the cavalry moving forward on this flank. There were some Pterodon riders that Vanguard deployed a little closer to us, and they took some fire from the Illyrian Reavers right away, but not a lot of ranged units in our army. It is really meant to get up close, personal, and in the face of our enemies rather quickly. My infantry's a little squishy, that's why I'm backing them up with Unbreakable Spawn. and then armor-piercing damage with the Razor Gore herds. So really just trying to do a little extra. You can see the Doom Wheel wanting to get a little work done early, and they can, and they could easily terrorize some of my units and get them off the battlefield quickly. As the Poison Wind Mortars start to fly, I'm going to go ahead and change my movement direction just for a moment with all my units, just to throw off this initial volley of Poison Wind Mortars and try and miss a little damage. From maximum range against mortar units, if you just kind of change where you were running to, you'll lessen the likelihood that you're going to take a direct hit. Sure enough, my units don't take a big hit. And you're going to see that a massive melee brawl is going to ensue here. And yeah, it's going to be Beastmen slamming into Skaven slaves all around. Yeah, so lots and lots of fighting about to take place there. Regina's cavalry rush is moving up and looking to take a flank. The Vampire Coast is inevitably extremely slow, and so they're just trying to play catch-up. Morgur is here, and we're going to get a huge fight underway here in the middle, where my Beastie Boys are going to take a lot of fire, but obviously they're just coming up against Skaven slaves, so they'll be okay, though some of my units are getting really shot up by some rattling guns here. It's not good for me, so I'm going to summon up the Feral Manticore. You can see that the Vampire Coast now arriving on the scene. Noctilus is here as well, using his arcane conduit. There's actually a Wind of Death coming through right there. Doesn't look like it did anything too tremendous, but just a huge brawl breaking loose. Look at Noctilus here. Gonna hit Ikat Claw. Does a little damage with his bombardment. See, the rattling guns are just brutalizing me here. And I was able to get the Feral Manticore into some of them, and it's doing some fantastic damage, and I'm pushing units forward as best I can. Here comes the Bray Shaman. See the fiery convocation there from Teclis causing some damage on some netted units. And just a huge brawl breaking out. The High Elf Cavalry is being met by a bunch of resistance from the Lizardmen here. Skinks backed up by Sara Spears. My own cavalry is going to have to back out of this fight. They're really just trying to hold us off for a little while. They've got their Empire Knights back here, and Sigmar's Sons. You can see some Proxigors. They're trying very hard to keep all of our cavalry off the flank, and they should. My units are taking tremendous damage, some of them being routed, but I'm pushing forward, and the Vampire Coast is helping me. You can now see Ikat Claw running away from Count Noctilus, the Bray Shaman rolling around in here, a few Razor Gore herds, and now the Syrenes are here as well, and the Syrenes are going to help easily rout these units. We get a massive push through the middle of the enemy force here, because the Skaven slaves obviously never intended to hold out, but they didn't hold long enough to really cause damage to slow down the rush yet. However, there's still a lot of enemy units here. Marcus Wolfheart is in good shape, the Fire Slan's in good shape, and there's a lot going on the battlefield. A whole lot. I've summoned another Feral Manticore, and I'm going to go after more Skaven skirmishers and try and take as many of those off the battlefield as we can. You can see the High Elf Cavalry having to mostly fall back. There are just a few Reavers back here still trying to find some targets, but the Empire Knights doing a good job of kind of keeping them away. Feral Manticore is diving into some skirmishers over here. It's going to be another Rattling Gun. And then I'm trying to get a hold of this Doom Wheel, and a very nice play here from the Empire Prite Wizard. They start summoning in a Piercing Bolts of Burning. I did see it and started to move, but it was a bit late, and I take a shellacking. But fortunately for me, the Skaven Doom Wheel also took a bit of a beating, but you can see that the Terror came into play there, and I've lost a lot of my cavalry, at least temporarily. See over here the Vampy Coast, their Syrenes, Feral Bastiladons berserking. It is a crazy fight right now, just absolutely crazy. You see the Feral Manticore here is going to go after the Silver Bullets. Saw this unit here, and really getting some good value out of my Manticore summons. I've killed a lot of Rattling Guns and other units, so I've been pretty happy with this so far. You can see a bunch of units back here. Comes a Banishment, trying to get them. Some of my Razor Gore herds are still berserking around, and my Bray Shaman is still working around in here too. Lots of opportunities to kill stuff. There's some infantry back here he's going to go after. Again, you can see the Silver Bullets getting savaged by the summoned Manticore. A lot of my units are gone. My cavalry did come back. I'm going to regroup them and pull them back through the middle. We have a really good route going, but there's still a bunch of Empire Knights. Then the leadership here for the Empire is going to be tough to break. The Hunter Snare stops Morgur and the Bray Shaman temporarily and allows Wolfheart to get away. And if he skirmishes effectively here too, he'll cause huge damage against the Bray Shaman. Oh, that Piercing Bolt, just holy crap. A lot of you don't know this, but Piercing Bolts can be extremely effective against single entity models like this if it lands a couple of hits, and you saw that right there, so that was a heck of a play by Uncle Gant. Really just did a great job of almost completely getting rid of my Bray Shaman there. The Bray Shaman's a very dangerous unit for them. There are no more Manticore summons, but he does have Flock of Doom, and he's very good against infantry. See here, he's going to go after the Silver Bullets, try and shut that unit down. Don't want it to get any value. You can see Morgur just kind of throwing himself into blobs. He's got a bunch of kills. Morgur excels in a blob of infantry that's not particularly high armored. See over here, though, that my Bray Shaman just got deleted by the Bright Wizard and Marcus Wolfheart put together. So, again, another great play there. Look at this, these rattling guns cleaning up Vampy Coast. See my cavalry here kind of wanting to go for the Fire Slan. This is also risky because, you know, last time I kind of got blobbed up on something, they made me pay for it. So I'm not going to stick around in that for a long time. I'm actually going to break off that attack, head over and start taking out more skirmishers with my cavalry. And you can see right now the power bar actually slightly against my team, and we've got an uphill battle here. There's a lot of fighting being done. The Fireborn are cutting through some Empire Knights. Teclis and his Death Mage are out there. You can see a lot of cavalry spread out, Lizardman units spread out that were chasing off different High Elf units. And then a little bit of fighting still going on here in the middle. Morgur held out amazingly well in this fight. He did get his summon unit of Chaos Spawn up earlier that was able to chase off more skirmish units, but he's now completely overmatched. This Warrior Priest will be a good unit for trying to help rein in Morgur. And pretty proud of the way Morgur was able to do in this battle, though. He did very well, but he's now surrounded by the cohort of Huatl. And a Bastiladon, he is gonna die. And indeed, he does rout. See Wolfheart here still using his Hunter Snare to good effect. Look at the skirmishing there. Just put a shot right into Noctilus. Noctilus is not liking life right now. He is a tough unit, though. How much healing he's got left. He is healing passively there as well. See, Regina has just constantly harried the enemy with her cavalry, just kind of swinging the camera around. There is a very healthy unit of Empire Knights here that have been chasing some units off. It's going to come swinging back in, looking to get rid of these Silver Helms and Syrenes, while a Flamestorm was dropped here. Hasn't landed on our units yet, but if it gets up into these Syrenes, it'll be very effective. Right now, it's just kind of shredding through the Rotting Promethean. So, ooh, that shot there from Wolfheart. Noctilus just took it bad there. Oh, that was almost a finisher, but he's going to crumble. Noctilus is going to be gone. So Wolfheart taking out the Shaman, taking out Noctilus, doing some really solid damage. He's played a heck of a game here. Saw this burning head coming, and I was looking to get my troops out of there as quick as I could. Most of my men get away with fairly minimal losses. This will end up going over the top of a few of the units on the team that it was cast from, but won't really be the end of the world for him. We're going to end up in a very interesting late game scenario now. Sorry, I just realized the music wasn't on either. I turned it back on. I don't know if we'll actually get some starting up. There it goes. Now I got a little ambiance. But yeah, I mean, this battle was perfectly good even without music in the background. So obviously, there's going to be a heck of a fight left, folks. It's pretty even. We're into a later game scenario. There are some Lizard units, including some Chameleon Skinks, way back in the back. They're going to have to find their way back up here. They've been chasing different units. There's a Tyrannok Chariot back here that is out of ammunition, but headed back this way. A few of my Beastmen units are regrouping. The Vampire Coast is pretty much dead at this point. They've crumbled. That's one of the downsides of having one of those factions. There were some regrouping Skinks here that my Centigores are going to clobber. And my only remaining Centigores are pretty damaged. I have a unit back here also. You can see this unit's actually got almost a Chevron with not that many kills. So it's done some good damage to a couple of units, but my cavalry somewhat misused in this. Whenever I attacked that Skaven Doom Wheel, it took a lot of damage that it didn't need to take. And Regina at this point, though, as far as what's left for her, she's got some Silver Helms. She's also got Teclis and the Death Mage, both very healthy. More Silver Helms here. And the Fireborn are very healthy, and she's got another Dragon Prince that's almost full health. So the enemy has got a Warrior Priest, a beat-up Fire Slan, an Ancient Salamander, and we've got Marcus Wolfheart here as well. So we've got our work cut out for us. There's still a Fire Wizard or a Bright Wizard back here, a lot of Spearmen and some Empire Knights roaming. So both sides have some good units here. Teclis and the Death Mage, though, are going to be very... I mean, I know he's not on his Phoenix, but they're going to be tough based on what the enemy has here. I mean, the Warrior Priest is pretty decent. and would do decently against Teclis and melee, but he doesn't have a mount, you know, so he's not going to be able to chase. See the Dragon Princes here going for a charge, and their charge will be very effective against anything with low armor, and if it's cycled well enough, they'll just be effective, period. See the dropping of a banishment here, attempting to catch the Fireborn as they go through it, but it didn't work. Regina was able to see it and pull back, and it's going to be an epic fight to the finish here, folks. An epic fight to the finish. Early on in this fight, I thought we were going to gain a major advantage, but the other team did a great job of fighting their way back into this, keeping what units they had there in the middle, causing tons of damage, slowly getting rid of all the Vampire Coast and the Beastmen, leaving only now the Elven Cavalry to try and deal with. A few, like I said, I got an Ungor herd and a couple of Centigors. There were some regrouping skinks out here. I'm going to plow them over with the Centigors. The Centigors hit pretty hard on the charge. It's not crazy, but they hit pretty hard. Be a burning head here that actually ends up hitting some Saurus warriors more than our troops, but it doesn't really do much damage to him. It must not have been overcast. You can see the bombardment coming in from the warrior priest. Very nice way to try and chew through some of the Fireborn. And then I like how Regina is charging in one unit, forcing them to fight, and then that opens a charge for a second unit, allowing the first to pull out. I'm going to throw some infantry in here just to try and help Regina's cavalry have a path of retreat. And I'm just going to have to be careful with my Centigors. We can't take any engagements too hastily, because we really need to gain an advantage. You see the power bar actually now shifting in our favor a little. You can see Regina here hunting this Fire Slan, definitely trying to take it out. Teclis gets plunged into the midst of combat. He's in a little bit of trouble here because he's surrounded. He's not going to have a real easy time getting out of here. So Teclis right up in the middle of this, and again, not on his crazy new Phoenix mount. Remember, he's old school Teclis. See the Slan here protecting his troop with the shield of the old ones. The Centigors have just kind of been hanging around. These ones finally got caught by an Empire Knight, unfortunately, but then Regina's able to get a charge on the Empire Knight with some Silver Helms, though the Empire Knight will probably survive that. My other Centigor, I'm just trying to be very careful. I want to be able to chase routing units with it and try and help my team out in that regard. It's still fairly close here in terms of the fight that we have going on. Wolfheart's still alive, though he just got hit by the Fireborn. He'll ragdoll quite a bit anytime he gets charged. And if he gets stuck in melee for long, he'll get chewed up. But if he doesn't get stuck there a long time, he's going to be hard to deal with. Tyrannok chariots are out here trying to keep these lizard reinforcements from quickly finding their way back in. And they've still got a long run, and they're pretty exhausted from all the chasing earlier. Comes a Burning Head, and then the bombardment. Burning Head is going to do a little bit of friendly damage, but also go right across the Dragon Princes. But Dragon Princes have pretty significant fire resistance, if I remember right. See if I can get it on the Dragon Princes here. There we go. Yeah, they've got 70% fire resistance, so the fire damage won't be good, and that's exactly what the Warrior Priest is dishing out. See here that the Fire Slan's in pretty big trouble. He's hurting. 10 of 329 hit points. The Fireborn chasing, and then right here, Wolfheart takes a beating at the hands of the Fireborn. I saw the Fire Slan, and I was going to make an attempt on it, but there were some enemy units here too, and just really trying to be careful with my Centigors. It's all I've got left, and I really want to make sure that I properly assist Regina's effort to help us try and finish this fight. Inside the shield of the old ones here, look at that, the Death Mage finally finishes the Fire Slan, and the power bar slowly starting to shift into the favor of my team after just an epic battle being fought down to, you know, not all that many troops left here. Gonna finally put a charge in with my Centigors and help Regina finish this. There are some Saurus Spears though, so I'm gonna have to watch out. Same thing, Empire Spears over here. See some skink cohorts over here trying to get rid of the Tyrannok chariots, and now the chameleon skinks have wheeled up as well. And so the fighting continues, even though the power bar says that it's going in the favor of my team. Regina's army here has just been fantastic support. She's done a really good job of getting in and fighting with her cavalry, but also knowing when to keep moving and trying to bring back another charge without just being like 100% charged cheese here, right? She's done a lot of good fighting, charging units in, letting one engage, charge in with another. Here I'm chasing out the ancient salamander. This Centigor with great weapon has gotten a fair number of kills now. Just about took a shot from these chameleon skinks, though, so it's going to have to be careful. Chameleon skinks have poison weapon damage, so they're also a bit of a pain to engage in melee once they run out of ammunition. See Regina's cavalry doing its work here, trying to burn its way through the infantry that's left, and they are succeeding. The infantry that's left is anti-large for the most part, but doesn't really have any significant armor-piercing damage, and it's going to cost them. See the Tyrannok chariots there put a hit on the skinks. Wolfheart, there's another regrouped skink unit here, and this Centaur is just going to crunch it. Just absolutely crunch it on the charge. The skinks weren't braced at all, and they were pretty damaged. Centaurs, again, dish out quite a bit of damage on the charge for a light cavalry unit. They're not bad. See Teclis coming in for more. He's got 97, almost 100 kills now. Death Mage. Flock of Doom here from Teclis. Help get rid of some of the remaining Empire and Lizard infantry. You can see Wolfheart and his warrior priest now being left out alone a little more. Centaurs cleaned up their stuff. 152 kills now. Killed a ton of skinks. And now, with the Empire Knights off the field, you can see them actually routing finally here. My Centaurs can operate with a little more impunity. See that this warrior priest just not giving up on it, man. He just continues to fight. Warrior priest is a very nice support unit in the right situation, so pretty cool to see it being used here. Wolfheart, my Centaurs managed to pitch him out of the fight, so now he's away from his protection, and he's going to get finished. So my Centaurs get the privilege of helping to bring down Wolfheart. Teclis wants a piece of that action too, and so do the Dragon Princes. Everybody wants it. Wolfheart has really caused us a lot of damage in this fight. See a Sara Spearman flying across the map right there too. So Wolfheart caught, and now the Warrior Priest going down there as well. And so my team is going to pull out the victory in this matchup of just teams that absolutely hate each other. Absolutely hate each other. I don't know what we call these, frenemies battles, or unlikely, oddballs. I don't know what we call this. You all may have to help me come up for a name with it, but it's pretty fun to play. I played a couple of these, and I have another one to show you that was a 2v2, but this one I had to get out there because it was just really such a fun battle. This is one of the things that I want to encourage people, like, you don't have to go play matchmaking to get into multiplayer. If you want to, there's a lot of folks in the Discord who like to play just social matches like this, where you pick a fun theme and you play it. Some of the players here before it started were like, oh, Air, we're just, we're not the best players. And we're like, it's fine, just come have fun. I wish there were more ways for people to get into multiplayer like this, because a lot of people think it's just that competitive 1v1 community. And that is a cool community in Warhammer. I don't want that one to go away, but I'm just saying there are other ways to play multiplayer. And it helps you get involved, and then sometimes you may find that after you learn a little, you want to do more. But, anyway, this was a really fun one. Thanks to Regina and Isidore for being awesome teammates. And then Short-Ended Straw, Uncle Gant, and 13 for giving us a really, really nice fight. So appreciate all of this. Skaven army was really fun. The 2 Doom Wheels caused me a lot of trouble on the infantry rush. He did a good job breaking up a lot of my infantry with that. Some of his skirmishers obviously got chewed up over time, but the Rattling guns were getting some work done early. You can see this one was the one I think that got hit early by the Manticore. But the Skaven really did a pretty nice job overall of trying to help out in that fight with the range. Uncle Gant did a really fun Empire army here. Very thematic, I think, with the Hunts Marshal having his archers and some guns and other fun units being paired up with a Bright Wizard. Very cool army from Uncle Gant, and very well fought on his part. He wrecked me with that Piercing Bolts of Burning twice. He got my cavalry once, and then he got my Bray Shaman another time, so just really fun play. And then Wolfheart doesn't have a ton of kills on him, but this dude caused some damage. I really hope CA makes it to where you can see the damage points caused by each unit. It'd be really, really awesome. And 13 here with the Fire Slan, an interesting pick to come in with that Fire Slan. Lots of light infantry support, a little bit of Sara support, and then a lot of specialty support. So a cool army from the Lizardmen to combine up with their teammates and help support the ranged that the other 2 factions were bringing. So fun game. Hope you all enjoyed this one. HeirofCarthage signing out for now. I will be back with some more content soon, and I can't wait to see you there.